Roy Cohn?
I had several experiences with Roy Cohn.
Barry Farber as well as...
Well, we were, there's some that aren't even in the book. We were debating the death penalty on the Barry Farber television show. And at one point it was, he had been the prosecution of the Rothenbergs, and it was clear that Ethel was not guilty of anything, that she was just silent. And I said, how could you stand by and let her be executed? And he said, I would have pulled the lever myself if they let me. And years later, when I saw Angels in America, that line was given, and I never knew if Tony Kushner saw that interview or if Roy Cohn said that all the time. But before that, when I was on the Human Rights Commission, during the Gay Pride Parade, there was a gathering in Central Park, and literature was being distributed, signed by me, saying, Roy Cohn says he's not gay, but he then all sorts of very vivid sexual descriptions of what he does at night. And it was signed David Rothenberg, Human Rights Commission. And people would call me and say, how could you write this? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I got a copy of the literature, and then I called my lawyer and I said, what do I do? And he said, send a, what do you call those letters?
Cease and desist. Cease and desist.
Well, whatever that was, letter to Roy Cohn registered. And then I called the next day, disavowing myself from any of it. That was a few months before the debate. And when I saw him at the debate, I said...
so you told him you basically are not going to do it?
I said, I am so embarrassed by that, and I hope you know. And he said, well, which letter are you talking about? And I said, which letter, that horrible one? He said, well, which one? He had so many terrible things written down. He said, oh, we know who writes that. No. I do want to tell you this, that when the night of the debate, when I arrived at the studio, they brought me into the green room, and there was Roy Cohn and David Dukes. David Dukes,
oh my God.
Dragon, and the Ku Klux Klan. He was there for a segment with Julian Bond, and I said, oh my God. And they said, Mr. Bond said the same thing. He's sitting in a little room down the corner. That's how I met Julian Bond. I went down and I said, excuse me, and so we laughed about it. And I said, part of me would like to be a fly on the wall. So what would Roy Cohn and David Dukes be talking about? But we both agreed that it was above and beyond the call of duty.